Welcome. You are watching Eagle News America. I'm Ace Ramirez coming to you from Washington, D.C. It's Wednesday evening here, June 2nd, 2021. Tonight we have updates from several of our correspondents across North and Central America. For tonight's live reports, Thomas Likeness in Edmonton, Alberta.
Canada's top doctors say it's time to change the country's vaccination strategy.
May Ann Manzano-Guerzon in Sicklerville, New Jersey.
New Jersey Governor and U.S. Secretary of Education visit Bergenfield High School to highlight the importance of in-person learning.
Myla Simbulan in Swarthmore, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania Department of Health provides flu update of 2020-2021 season, one of the mildest on record.
Randy Bayuga in Pearisburg, Ohio.
Ohio Department of Health Director rescinds COVID-19 health orders.
Julian Fiesta in Delano, California.
California theme park announces job availabilities ahead of the state's goal to fully reopen June 15th.
Claudine Caday in Kissimmee, Florida, reports about COVID vaccination incentives increasing across the country. For entertainment news, Joanne Soriano tells us about EBC Films' Guerrero Dos bagging awards at the International Film Festival, Manhattan. For tonight's roundtable, join the team as we share ideas on how we make the most of rotisserie chicken, because today is National Rotisserie Chicken Day. Our coverage begins now. During a cabinet meeting in Tehran, President Hassan Rouhani says that Iran's main issues with the U.S. have been resolved during negotiations and only minor issues are left to be discussed. Negotiations in Vienna have been underway since April to return Washington to the nuclear deal agreement and lift sanctions on Tehran, while also bringing Iran back into compliance with nuclear commitments it dropped in response to U.S. sanctions. President Rouhani says if there's the will that this be done in the current administration, then this administration has finished the work. In other news, gathered in front of a brick building where President Joe Biden came to chair the historic commemoration of the race massacre that occurred here in 1921, Tulsa residents confide their hope that this long-silenced tragedy will finally come to light.
This has been hidden for so long. This has been hidden. It was not taught in our schools.
It's really wild. It should be in textbooks. It should be everywhere. People need to know about this. I mean, why keep it a secret?
You know, again, looking for a lot more than rhetoric and gestures. You know, we're looking for results. You know, we're looking for, opportunity, economic opportunity, the same opportunity they had, elsewhere all around town.
President Biden leads emotional commemorations today, saying the United States must learn from one of the worst episodes of racist violence in the country's history. The president marks the centenary of the massacre by meeting survivors in the city after the White House announced new initiatives, including billions of dollars in grants to address racial disparities in wealth, home ownership, and small business ownership. For today's COVID-19 numbers, according to the Coronavirus Resource Center of Johns Hopkins University in Medicine, as of 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Wednesday, June 2, the number of cases of COVID-19 reported worldwide is now over 171,301,000. Top 3 on the list of countries with recorded cases: U.S. more than 33.2 million, India has more than 28.3 million, Brazil has more than 16.6 million. This virus has now claimed more than 3,567,000 lives worldwide. Top 3 countries with the most number of COVID-19 related deaths are U.S., over 595,000, Brazil, over 465,000, and India, with over 335,000. Total vaccine doses administered worldwide are now at 1,964,334,000. Now for COVID news. Croatian border police checked digital COVID-19 certificates a day after the European Union member country began to issue them. Croatia is one of 7 countries now linked to the EU certificate system, and Brussels says all 27 members must be linked by July 1st. The certificate shows the bearer's vaccination status or whether they have immunity from a COVID-19 infection after recovery, or the result of a COVID-19 test. In a sign of increased confidence in its jabs rollout, the European Commission urged on Monday fully vaccinated residents in the EU should be exempt from COVID-19 quarantine when traveling within the bloc. Commission officials say they encouraged member states to start issuing and accepting the COVID certificates in June, so that all EU countries were using it by the end of the month, in time for the peak summer tourist season. Countries expected to be ready to issue certificates today include Bulgaria, Croatia, the Czech Republic, Greece, Denmark, and Poland. Meanwhile, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken says the U.S. will announce the criteria for the distribution of COVID-19 vaccines to various countries soon, but says the distribution will come without political requirements of those receiving them.
We will be announcing the process by which we'll distribute those vaccines, what the criteria are, how we will do it, and among other things, we will focus on equity, on the equitable distribution of vaccines. We'll focus on science. We'll work in coordination with COVAX, and we will distribute vaccines without political requirements of those receiving them.
Blinken is in Costa Rica for a 2-day visit where he discusses the root causes of undocumented migration to the United States. He calls on Central American countries to defend democracy and fight corruption. Today, the Department of Health and Human Services, or HHS, through the Administration for Children and Families, or ACF, announces the official launch of the Low-Income Household Water Assistance Program, or LIWAP. This first-of-a-kind water assistance program will expand access to more affordable water and help low-income households affected by the COVID-19 pandemic pay their water and wastewater bills, avoid shutoffs, and support household water system reconnections related to non-payment. The program provides grants issued and administered by ACF and the Office of Community Services, or OCS, to states, territories, and tribes across the United States to work in partnership with private owners and operators of public water systems and treatment facilities to ensure low-income households and families have access to water and wastewater services. Today, $166.6 million, or 15% of allocated LIWAP funding, is being made immediately available to LIWAP grantees to support the establishment of the program. According to HHS, in total, $1.1 billion will be available through LIWAP grants, including $500 million in American Rescue Plan funding. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, will hold a virtual celebration on Friday, June 4, marking the 70th anniversary of its Epidemic Intelligence Service, or EIS program. From the threat of biological warfare in the 1950s to the COVID-19 pandemic of today, CDC's EIS officers, better known as CDC's elite disease detectives, have served on the front lines of public health, investigating threats in the United States and around the world. Here's a quick look at how EIS impacts the lives of these cream-of-the-crop disease detectives.
If I had to describe EIS in one word, I would say it's life-changing.
If I had to pick one word to describe EIS, it would definitely be exhilarating.
I think if I were to describe the EIS program in one word, I would call it rewarding. One word that I would say to describe EIS is ingenuity. And the reason I say that is because we live in a world where there are so many problems that are emerging rapidly. I have a twin sister, and we went to medical school together. We both did internal medicine training, and she is more clinically oriented. She went on to be a heart doctor. She's a cardiologist. And she said to me, you know, Vic, I think what I do is great, but what you do is really, really cool because you get to impact so many more people than I do on a daily basis. She said, I see a lot of sick patients. It tugs at my heartstrings because they're so sick and so ill. And I'm only helping that one person, and there are millions of other people that need my help. But you sit on the other side, on every day, you're looking at how do you prevent illness in so many more people.
Up next, updates from Alberta and New Jersey. Eagle News America will return in a moment.
Start up your weekday mornings with edutainment, news and information kasama ang inyong paboritong Net25 shows. Samahan ang inyong paboritong morning barkada sa Pambansang Almusal at 5 a.m. Tatalakayin mga pangunahing balita sa pagtutulungan ng Radyo Agila at Net25. Samahan si Weng de la Fuente sa Balitalakayan, 7 a.m. Saganang Mamamayan at 8 a.m. NHK World at 9 a.m. Eagle News International at 10 a.m. At mga balitang dapat niyong malaman mula sa Agila, Pilipinas at 11 a.m. This is your morning startup every weekday mornings only here on Net25.
Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News America. It's time to change Canada's vaccination strategy. That's what the country's top doctors are suggesting. In Alberta, Bureau Chief Thomas Likeness tells us why. Thomas.
Thanks, Ace. Well, the big change, the change that they would like to see done, the country's chief medical officers of health have issued a statement saying it's time to start fully vaccinating Canadians. Now, you recall, I've talked about this quite a bit on the program because of supply problems. The Canadian government has been delaying second doses of COVID-19 for up to 4 months instead of the 3 or 4 weeks recommended by the manufacturers. Now, that strategy has allowed us to at least partially immunize about 60% of the population. But you know, the number of fully immunized people, we haven't even reached 6% yet. Doctors are saying, well, the first dose offers very good protection against COVID-19 infection, against hospitalization and even death. Getting that second dose is essential. And that's because it enhances protection and strengthens the protection over a longer period of time. And the docs say this should be done as soon as possible to prevent any further surges of COVID. I don't want to jinx this and say anything, but we definitely want to avoid a fourth wave. So this should be doable. This immunizing people by the end of the summer with both doses should be doable. Canada's on target to receive millions of doses of inoculant. And once those medicine cabinets are stocked up, experts say, well, let's start jabbing arms with the second shot as soon as possible. They say top priority should be given to those with the highest risk of severe illness and death. So once we have inoculated everyone with 2 doses, well, can we forget about what we've been doing for the past year? That's not what the doctors say. They say we still need to adhere to whatever public health measures might be in place, and we still need to take personal preventive measures. And you know, that could stave off the flu, because there was no flu season this past year because we were all practicing good public health hygiene. In Edmonton, Canada, Thomas I. Likeness, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Ace.
Thomas, how about a new recommendation from Canada's advisory committee? You think that would help?
Yes, I think it will. Now, the committee is saying we can mix and match vaccine types. And this is particularly crucial when it involves the AstraZeneca vaccine. People who have had that first dose of AstraZeneca, for their second dose, they could go to an RNA-type vaccine such as Pfizer or Moderna, and this will likely overcome some of the hesitancy people have about receiving the AstraZeneca. As you recall, a number of people have been scared off from having that second shot of AstraZeneca because of the risk of rare blood clots. It's a small risk, but nevertheless, some people are afraid. The advisory committee says, okay, Pfizer or Moderna can be used for that second shot. So if they go that route, they achieve full immunity. Luckily, we don't have a lot of AstraZeneca left on the shelves here, but we do have millions of doses of mRNA inoculants coming in. So we should be able to mix and match, and that will certainly help boost the numbers of fully immunized people. Ace?
That's something new, to mix and match, to address the need. Obviously, there is a need for global immunization, but there's word that Canada has increased its contribution to COVAX. What's happening there?
Okay, I got this from a Canadian press report this morning, quoting our International Development Minister, Karina Gould. Gould saying, we'll double our financial commitment to COVAX from 22 million to or 220 million, I should say, to $440 million. But what she isn't committing to is a specific number of surplus vaccine doses. You know, we have somewhat of a black eye with COVAX. We're the only G7 country to take COVAX vaccines rather than give them. And this happened at the beginning of our immunization rollout when we had a shortage here because of government mismanagement of the program. We bought some nearly 1 million doses of AstraZeneca from COVAX. Critics say that could have reduced the supply for other countries who really need it. You know, it's an embarrassment and something the Prime Minister has tried to downplay. But I think we look petty and foolish dipping into the supply of inoculant that should more properly go to less developed countries that can't afford to immunize their people. You know, we talk a good story up here about understanding the need for global herd immunity, but the words are pretty empty when we start raiding the donation bin for vaccines. Hopefully the money will help out, but we really should be making a firm commitment on how much surplus vaccine we can donate. Ace?
All right, let's talk about those who suffered severe side effects from vaccines. Are there any assistance available?
Yes, last December, the government promised to come up with a program to financially help people who had bad reactions, disabling reactions to vaccines. And that program has finally now been launched this week. There will be financial support that includes income replacement, payment for injuries, death benefits, including funeral expenses, and uncovered medical expenses. Now, this isn't going to apply to people who, you know, have a couple of sick days after they reacted in a minor way to the vaccine and then they recover. This is for those severe or catastrophic reactions. Chief Public Health Officer Dr. Teresa Tam, again, says those reactions are rare, but she says, keep in mind, this can happen with any kind of medical treatment. Ace?
Thank you so much, Thomas Likeness, Edmonton, Alberta.
Thank you, Ace, and you take care.
In New Jersey, Governor Phil Murphy and Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona visit Bergenfield High School and highlight the importance of in-person learning. In Sicklerville, EBC's Mayan Manzano-Gorazon joins us tonight with the story. Mayan?
Thank you, Ace. Governor Phil Murphy and the U.S. Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona today visited Bergenfield High School to discuss the importance of in-person learning. While the pandemic led to a temporary statewide closure of schools in March 2020, public schools serving over 95% of New Jersey's nearly 1.4 million students are now learning in person either on a full-time or hybrid schedule. Governor Murphy has also required all schools to provide full-time in-person instruction for the 2021 to 2022 school year with no remote learning option available. Take a look.
We are proud to hold Bergenfield up as a model of the tremendous progress New Jersey has made statewide in creating the safe environments where our students and educators and support staff can get back to the business of in-person instruction. Bergenfield is one of the now more than 400 school districts that is open for 5 days a week in-person instruction. More than 360 other school districts are open for part-time in-person instruction through a hybrid schedule. Together, districts, charters, Renaissance schools, and special services schools serving more than 95% of all students in New Jersey are now open for in-person instruction. Only 7 remain in an all-remote position. We have been focused on returning safely and responsibly our students and educators to their familiar classrooms for one clear reason. They are each at their best in classroom settings, and we cannot understate the impact the return to in-person instruction has made on parents as they have begun to return to their workplaces.
Moreover, U.S. Secretary of Education Dr. Miguel Cardona said that students belong in school and that their experience is now more normal than it was months ago. Take a look.
I read a sign inside that says, "Children come first." And here at this school and in the state, it's clear that children come first. Students belong in school, and that's what we saw today. You know, I don't have to tell you that the $130 billion from the American Rescue Plan, the intent there is to get students in school as quickly and as safely as possible, to address some of the barriers that led to students coming into school, and then that it created new work and different work and challenging work to engage families that experienced trauma during the pandemic. But we're at a point now where collectively we can experience signs of recovery. Signs of recovery. And I saw that here today at the school. I walked in, I saw students learning, seniors learning, talking about graduation in a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, their plans for post-graduation. I walked into a classroom, we walked into a classroom and we heard a band playing. They had the covers on their wind instruments to make sure that they're not spreading air. So they did all the right things to make sure that the arts is alive and well in their classrooms.
Currently in New Jersey, there are only 8 local education agencies statewide without some form of in-person education. 99% of school districts offer in-person learning either on a full-time or hybrid schedule, while only 3% of New Jersey students are enrolled in a remote local education agencies. And for New Jersey's latest COVID-19 numbers, the Department of Health has reported another 237 new positive cases today, bringing our statewide total to 888,074. Sadly, we are also reporting 20 new confirmed deaths, pushing the total to 23,569 fatalities. But on the brighter side, the latest total of fully vaccinated individuals in New Jersey is now 4,259,893. To know the latest on New Jersey's vaccination progress, visit covid19.nj.gov/vaccine. And for a quick weather update, it is currently clear here in New Jersey. It is 63 degrees Fahrenheit or 17 degrees Celsius. In Sicklerville, New Jersey, May and Manzano Garzon, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Ace.
Thank you so much, May Ann. Any updates on the COVID cases in New Jersey schools?
Ace, according to the latest state data, New Jersey has reported 281 in-school coronavirus outbreaks, which have resulted in 1,263 cases among students, teachers, and school staff this academic year. Ace?
Okay, let's go back to your report. You mentioned it will be 100% in-person learning in New Jersey schools in the next school year. So will masks or face coverings still be required next academic year?
Yes, Ace. According to Governor Murphy, actually in his COVID briefing earlier today, his guess at this moment in time is that the state will continue to require students and staff to wear masks in the fall, but there is a chance that could change. He also said that masks may still be needed because the vaccination have only started, have only begun for those 12 to 15 years old, and there's still no authorized vaccine for children under 12 years old. So that's mainly the reason. So they're still being required to wear their mask when they go back to school this fall. Ace.
Better safe than sorry. Well, in terms of vaccination, as the state, I heard, the state is getting closer to hitting the goal. So what's going to happen to the mega sites, to the vaccination mega sites?
As you said, Ace, the state is getting closer to its goal, 60 to 70% of the adult population. And that is why it is phasing out and closing the 6 COVID vaccine megasites. And as of today, both the Atlantic County and Gloucester County megasites have stopped delivering first doses as of Wednesday. And the Bergen County megasite at the Meadowlands will administer its final first doses on Friday. And the final first doses at the Morris County megasite at Rockaway Town Square Mall will be administered on June 23, and the final day for second doses will be July 16. The Middlesex County megasite at the New Jersey Expo Center will give its final round of first shots on June 26, and the last follow-up doses will be administered July 17. The Burlington County megasite at the Morristown Mall will stop administering first doses on July 1 and will remain open for second shots only through July 23. Ace.
Sounds sad, but it's progress.
Yes, right.
May Ann Manzano Gorzon in Sicklerville, New Jersey.
Thank you, Ace.
When we come back, live reports from Pennsylvania, Ohio, and California. Eagle News America. We'll be right back.
Innovation, digital disruption, globalization. Startups, micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as large corporations, all face interesting challenges in the market today. Peek into the world of exciting opportunities and partnerships to drive growth with the latest business news and information. We are open for business. Your weekly dose of entrepreneurial inspiration to update you on the latest developments in the world of business. Get up close and personal with CEOs and thought leaders to help you discover valuable insights, sharpen your instincts for smart decision making with the latest markets and economic trends, disruptive ideas, global innovation, social entrepreneurship, and other leading-edge business ideas. Join the conversations to create a more vibrant environment for entrepreneurship. Catch Open for Business, from vision to action.
Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News America. Pennsylvania's Department of Health reports that in the past year, the number of recorded flu cases in the state is one of the mildest. To tell us more about it, Bureau Chief Myla Simbulan is with us tonight. Myla.
That's right, Ace. As we end the flu season this year, Deputy Secretary of Health, Preparedness and Community Protection, Ray Baryshonsky, provided an update on the 2020-2021 flu season, which was one of the mildest flu seasons on record and ended on May 22. Take a look.
The 2020-2021 flu season ended on May 22nd. This was a particularly mild flu season. In fact, it was one of the mildest flu seasons on record for Pennsylvania. This was a stark difference from last flu season, which was higher than normal, ending the season with more than 130,900 cases of flu. The low flu activity, in part, is a testament to effective COVID-19 mitigation efforts that also prevent the flu, since the two infectious diseases
This meeting is being recorded.
spread the same way. An additional highlight of the season was a record number of individuals that got their flu vaccine this season. In general, flu activity remained low across the Commonwealth and nationally the entire season.
The previous season was higher than usual with more than 130,900 cases of flu. That is a stark difference from where we ended in 2021. The low flu activity, in part, is a testament to effective COVID-19 mitigation efforts that also prevent the flu. Since the two infectious diseases spread the same way, in addition, a record number of individuals got their flu vaccine this season. Flu activity remained low across the Commonwealth and nationally the entire season. The 2020-2021 season with the co-circulation of COVID-19 was comparable to the 2015-2016 season when the H1N1 flu virus predominated. As of May 22, there have been 3,664 laboratory-confirmed flu cases and 21 flu-associated deaths statewide. This is a 95% decrease from cumulative count of cases at the end of 2019-2020 flu season. Influenza A and B were identified by laboratory testing in all 67 counties. The percent of outpatient visits associated with influenza-like illness, or ILI, was low and stayed below the state epidemic threshold. A total of 45 influenza-associated hospitalizations were reported in Pennsylvania during the current flu season. Additionally, it was reported nationally that the drop of flu cases occurred despite a six-fold increase in testing at public health labs, most of which test for influenza A and B along with COVID-19. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, recommended healthcare providers test patients who have COVID-19-like symptoms for both flu and COVID-19 because it is impossible to differentiate between the two viruses without testing, and patients can have both viruses at the same time. The department's epidemiologists continue to monitor and compare statewide flu activity with the national flu activity. The CDC reported that seasonal flu activity in the United States remains lower than usual for this time of year. While flu vaccines are not reportable to the department as of February 12, 2021, the CDC reported 193.8 million doses of flu vaccine have been distributed in the United States. This surpassed the previous record of 174.5 million doses distributed during the 2019-2020 flu season. For the weather here in Swarthmore, it's 69 degrees Fahrenheit or 20 degrees Celsius, and we are expecting showers tonight. In Swarthmore, Pennsylvania, Mila Simbulan, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Ace.
Thank you so much, Mila. Okay, let me ask you this. What is flu in Tagalog?
Trangkaso.
That's right. So,
now I got it right. Trangkaso, yes.
So, yes. Okay, so when does flu season start? When does Trangkaso season start? And when does it end?
So here in the Northeast, the official influenza surveillance season starts with the 48th week of the year. So that's typically around the beginning of October and ends on the 28th week of the following year, which is usually in May. So for the 2020-21 season, the influenza surveillance season began on September 27, 2020, and it ran through May 22, 2021, just last week.
Okay, so if it starts in October, I guess the best time to get the flu vaccine is what? A couple weeks, a month before it? Probably a month before it, huh?
Yes, actually, my kids' pediatric doctor, usually by September, they're already giving out all those flu vaccines.
I see. That's interesting. Prior to COVID, what was the estimate number of Pennsylvanians who get the flu each year?
So prior to COVID, it is estimated that 5 to 20%, or 600,000 to 2,400,000 of Pennsylvanians get the flu each year. and 120 to 2,000 die from complications of influenza. But Ace, it is important to note that influenza case counts are restricted to only those cases that have had a positive laboratory test for flu, or I think the testing is called rapid test, GFA, or PCR, or culture, similar to COVID. And those are reported to the Pennsylvania Department of Health. And this is because most persons with influenza do not go to the doctor or are not tested. So yeah, that's the reason why. Ace?
That's right. Well, a lot of people just shrug it off. It's a regular cold or cough and whatever. They don't really pay attention to it. How about you? Were you able to get a flu shot this season?
Yes, actually, I was able to. Me and my family was able to get flu shot prior to. Well, actually, it's prior to the flu season because usually the pediatrician of my kids, they usually call us or email us that the flu vaccine is already available, and we make an appointment right away once that happens. But for myself, I think my husband, we were already late November when we had the flu vaccine.
So
and,
why to you? Why is it important? Why is it important to you to get a vaccine, a flu shot?
Well, initially, before I had my kids, I don't really care about flu shot because it's always a pain, pain to go through flu shot. But then eventually, because I don't want, for me, I don't want to get flu and then give it to my kids. That's when I really started every year to get flu shot, and especially during last year when COVID-19 started, when the pandemic started. They were all saying yes, get a flu shot because it is useful for you. It will be your protection against COVID-19 as well. So that's the reason why we're probably going to do it because of what happened last year. We're probably going to do it every year as well. Ace?
Thank you so much, Myla Simbulan, Swarthmore, Pennsylvania. As more residents get vaccinated in Ohio, COVID-19 health orders have been rescinded by the state's Department of Health. Eagle News correspondent Rani Bayuga is with us this evening with the details. Rani.
Thank you, Ace. The director's orders to rescind, actually, the COVID-19 health orders have been rescinded by the Department of Health Director Stephanie McLeod. That was initiated this morning at 12 a.m. So that means the director's order to limit access to Ohio's jails and detention facilities have been removed. Director's orders to release protected health information to Ohio's first responders. The director is requiring the use of facial coverings for child education settings. The director's orders for retail and business compliance for facial coverings through the state of Ohio. The Second Amendment Director's Order on adult day support services and vocational habilitation center services, and the Third Amendment Director's Order on opening of senior centers and adult day services centers. So basically, as of 12 a.m. today, facial coverings for the most part, as well as social distancing, are no longer required as Ohio complies with the CDC guidelines. Vaccinations in Ohio is now up to 45.52%. That is 5,321,006 Ohioans have received at least one shot of the vaccines. And the total number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 is now up to 1,102,890. In the last 24 hours, 334 have been added. And there are now a total number of deaths at 19,923. And in the last 24 hours, 62 were added. That's why Governor Mike DeWine reminds Ohioans, and I quote, "It is important that we all still remember that there are a significant number of Ohioans who remain unvaccinated and are at risk, including everyone under the age of 12. It is important that those not fully vaccinated continue to wear masks indoors and follow other preventive measures to keep themselves as healthy as possible. So to be considered fully vaccinated, if you took the Pfizer or Moderna shots, you should have already received the second shot, and 2 weeks has transpired since you've gotten that shot. Similarly, for Johnson & Johnson, that single shot vaccine, you need 2 weeks to transpire since you received the shot. So that is when you are fully vaccinated. And today, we also learn the second set of winners for the Vax-A-Million here in Ohio. Perrysburg, Ohio, Ronnie Bayuga, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Ace.
You mentioned Vax-A-Million winner, and
yes,
the main eyes lit up.
We have the second set of winners for, if you recall, Vax-A-Million is this program that Ohio has initiated to promote vaccinations here in Ohio. So a lot of people have actually responded positively to the program. And tonight's winner is actually, one of them is my neighbor, actually, kind of. He's here just a few miles from me. Jonathan Carlisle, Toledo, Lucas County. And the child who received the 4-year scholarship winner, Zoe Vincent of Mayfield Village, Cuyahoga County. I also know where they are. But it's been a very successful program. And we saw the increase in the number of people getting vaccinated and signing up for this Vax-A-Million program. It's been really good.
Congratulations to the winners of the Vax-A-Million program. Are there additional provisions regarding COVID health orders that have been rescinded?
So they haven't rescinded some of the orders. So some of them are to prevent, actually for notification. So people are still supposed to notify if the children, let's say children from kindergarten to K-12, if they are positive or suspected for COVID-19, they are supposed to report that. There's also a similar order for residents, guardians, and sponsors to receive probable cases of COVID-19. Director's order to the designated Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is still considered the public health laboratory for COVID-19. And the order to require screenings for admissions to state-operated psychiatric hospitals or Department of Youth Services, they are still supposed to screen for COVID-19. But other than that, I went to Costco today and Home Depot. There's a significant number of people no longer wearing masks today, and they're just en masse everywhere.
I bet everybody's dying to take off their masks or their face coverings.
Well, I'm not ready for that yet. It's only 45.5%. So there's still like 55% of people not vaccinated. So that's not something I'll be taking off anytime soon.
Just like what Thomas said earlier, it may be a little bit too soon. Well,
yes.
Thank you, Ronnie Bayuga, Perrysburg, Ohio.
Thank you, Ace.
Caliphate's target to fully reopen on June 15th. Universal Studios announces job openings from full-time to part-time to seasonal roles to professional career opportunities. Eagle News correspondent Julian Fiesta tells us more. Julian.
Thank you, Ace. With much hardship and financial loss experienced by many theme parks and their employees during the pandemic closure, bright days are ahead for Los Angeles County as the much-awaited June 15th state reopening draws nearer. With a significant decrease in confirmed COVID-19 cases, coupled with the overwhelming opportunities for Angelenos to be vaccinated, the full capacity reopenings of theme parks, entertainment, and gatherings are definitely in sight for many Los Angeles residents. Similar to many theme parks, Universal Studios Hollywood underwent many layoffs of team members caused by the park closure all of last year. With its recent limited capacity reopening, high demand, and potential full reopening later this month, Universal Studios Hollywood announces a variety of positions, including full-time, part-time, seasonal roles, and even professional careers that will be made available to keep up with the high demand. According to a press release distributed yesterday by Universal Studios Hollywood, the world-class theme park is hiring to fill over 2,000 available jobs. This is a great opportunity for anyone looking to be employed in the sector of entertainment and thrilling rides. These part-time, full-time, and seasonal job opportunities are in the following departments and classifications: attractions, entertainment, from production assistants to show controllers, guest relations, park services, wardrobe, retail, parking and food, from bartenders, baristas, cooks and bakers to food stand attendants and runners. Everyone interested can apply at www.ushjobs.com. If you are looking for a professional career at Universal Studios Hollywood, from finance, marketing, and human resources to engineering and environmental health and safety, then visit www.nbcunitcareers.com to apply for these current openings. With the attractions of The Secret Life of Pets and Jurassic World: The Ride, guests are looking at Universal Studios Hollywood for an enjoyable and memorable experience amidst this pandemic situation. And as more guests visit, including those coming from out of California, team members, especially at this theme park, will definitely be in great need. In Delano, California, Julian Fiesta, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Ace.
Thank you so much, Julian. A career at the Universal Studios or any theme park, that would mean leisure and work both at the same time. Why wouldn't you want that, right? Clarify this. Are residents the only ones eligible to go to the Universal Studios? How about out-of-state visitors?
So, Ace, out-of-state folks can visit the Universal Studios theme park, but have to present both a photo ID and proof of completed COVID-19 vaccination, which must also show that the final dose was administered no earlier than 14 days prior. Also, no one under 12 years old will be allowed to visit the park, and the size of groups spending the day together is limited to 3 households. Ace?
You mentioned the 2 latest attractions in your report. What can guests expect at Universal Studios?
Okay, yes, Ace. I did mention The Secret Life of Pets Off the Leash, wherein the ride will take you through various pet-themed locations with an immersive animatronic experience that will have you imagining and visualizing the reply to the question of, what are your pets really doing when you're not at home? Also, the Jurassic World: The Ride will leave you awestruck as you encounter giant, lifelike, convincing dinosaurs and journey through their habitat. And a list of other riveting and popular attractions like The Wizarding Worlds of Harry Potter, Transformers: The Ride 3D, Revenge of the Mummy: The Ride, Despicable Me's Super Silly Funland, Springfield, USA, Fast and Furious Supercharged, and King Kong 360 3D. Now that many students are on summer vacation, Universal Studios Hollywood might be a great choice to have that family bonding experience. Ace?
Thank you so much, Julian Fiesta, Delano, California. Up next, a report from Florida and New York when we come back.
Factual.
We have to defeat the virus everywhere.
Timely information. Balanced, not only in the country, but also abroad.
I'm certain of one thing.
Interviews that people need to know. Watch Aguila Pilipinas, a 1-hour newscast of reports coming from regional hubs in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Know the important updates in Asia in ASEAN in Focus. Track the latest stories in the provinces in Aguila Provincia.
Sa mga taga-Iloilo at Antique,
Tune into Mata ng Agila, the evening primetime news program of Net25. Balanced and objective, Mata ng Agila covers national and international issues, tackles news on business, health, science, and technology, entertainment, sports and human interest features, and current events. And Eagle News International delivers the latest global reports, impartial, accessible, and up-to-date. It brings to fore EBC's rich international scope and access to valuable information streams.
Well, thank you to thank our health outdoor.
Catch these programs on Net25. You can also watch our news programs through eaglenews.ph and Eagle News Facebook page and YouTube channel.
Welcome back. This is Eagle News America. I'm Ace Ramirez in Washington, D.C. Cities and states across the country are coming up with creative ways and irresistible offers to encourage residents to get vaccinated against COVID. Let's find out from Eagle News correspondent Claudine Caday what these Vax promotions are. Claudine.
As a college student in America, I am attracted to free stuff. So once I heard of all the promotions for getting my COVID-19 vaccine, I was already making my to-do list of all of the free stuff I can get with my vaccination, and I wanted to share it with you all, so take notes. Starting off sweet, as soon as I was vaccinated, I got one free Krispy Kreme glazed donut, which are available at any location in the United States. I also heard I can get my vaccine card laminated at Staples and Office Depot to make sure I didn't get any glaze on my card. One of the newer promos I'm most excited about is the United Airlines sweepstakes, where frequent flyers can upload their vaccination card and sign up to win either a round-trip flight for 2 or 1 year of free air travel on any United Airlines flight. 35 winners will be randomly selected between June and July if they upload their card by June 22nd on their website. And while vaccination rates are making their slow climb, cities across the country are introducing more initiatives to vaccinate more Americans. If you haven't gotten vaccinated yet but are looking forward to, Uber and Lyft are offering free rides to vaccination sites until July 4th. One of those sites is Target, where customers can receive a $5 gift card if they're vaccinated at a CVS within a Target location. If you live in New York, the American Museum of Natural History is now a vaccination site where you can get immunized right under the giant blue whale herself and get a voucher to come back with free general admission for 4 people. And if you love baseball, New York is offering the Johnson & Johnson vaccines at Yankees and Mets games, wherein you can get a free ticket to a game in the future. Chicago began their summer concert series on May 22nd, free for vaccinated Chicagoans. Those who were able to snag a ticket for the kickoff event only needed their vaccination card and a photo ID to have fun. And in Alabama, vaccinated and licensed Americans 16 and older can take 2 laps behind a pace car on the Talladega Superspeedway at highway speeds, of course. It's looking like a safe and fun summer for vaccinated Americans this year. I'm Claudine Caday, Eagle News, and we live in interesting times.
And now for entertainment news. EBC Films Guerrero Dos Wins Big at the International Film Festival Manhattan. To tell us what awards Guerrero Dos bagged at the IFFM Spring 2021 Awards, Bureau Chief Joanne Soriano files this report.
EBC Films Guerrero Dos Tuloy ang Laban wins big at the International Film Festival Manhattan Spring 2021, held in New York. This heartwarming sequel to the award-winning film Guerrero follows Miguel in the hospital as he deals with life while his older brother, the boxer Ramon, lies in a coma. The film received 6 nominations, including Best Director, Best Actress, 2 for Best Actor in a Feature Film, and jury awards for Best Narrative Global and Best Performance of the Festival Grand Winner. Guerrero Dos clinched the awards for Best Director, going to Carlo Ortega Cuevas, and Best Actor going to JC Sabinorio. The awarding ceremony was done virtually and in person at Stewart's Cinema and Cafe in Brooklyn.
For the Best Director Feature Film category, the winner is... From the Philippines, Guerrero Dos, Carlo Ortega Cuevas!
I would like to thank our Almighty God and the Iglesia ni Cristo Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo. Thank you so much for the guidance and support, and thank you for trusting us to be part of this movie. Thank you, Sir Luis Pedron, for creating a venue for our film, where we can showcase our movies, where we can tell stories, where we can inspire people, especially in this time of pandemic.
And the winner is... From the Philippines, from Guerrero Dos, Julio Cesar Sabinorio!
I'm so happy and honored to receive this award. I thank the Lord God and His Son, the Lord Jesus, for these blessings. I would like to thank as well Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, the Executive Minister of the Iglesia ni Cristo, for his guidance. To my family, thank you for your love and support. And to Mr. Luis Pedron and the International Film Festival Manhattan, thank you for creating a wonderful way to show Filipino talent.
The film received honorable mentions for actress Mia Suarez and actor Art de Guzman. Guerrero Dos also placed in a 5-way tie in the Audience Choice Awards. I caught up with festival director Luis Pedron to get his personal thoughts on the movie.
The fun part about Guerrero Dos is, even though it's a drama, it's actually lighthearted. It actually touched my heart because my dad and mom passed away 2017 and 18, and I was in the hospital a lot taking care of them. So this film actually encourages everyone to still be positive, even though you're in a bad situation. And that's what your main character actually showed, that even though it's a negative situation, you have to have positivity every day.
He also spoke about how the pandemic has affected the festival with having to hold virtual screenings and how people can submit entries for the next time.
It was a scramble creating a virtual event, and it was difficult because at the beginning of the year when it happened, a few weeks after Jerry Balasta, my co-founder, passed away because of COVID. He's a frontliner, but he was an award-winning filmmaker. So it was difficult for me to just plan it out. So I was able to create, thank God, in November and now in May, a virtual film festival. We were able to reach out more, not only Filipinos in the Philippines and here in the US, but everyone from around the world could actually now watch the films. What we're looking for are professional category films that are commercials, corporate videos, even fashion shows if you have. And of course, the usual short films that are below 15 minutes. Feature films are below 90 minutes. And of course, now we have a new category called Himalayan films from Tibet, Nepal, and Bhutan.
In New York, Joanne Soriano, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Today is National Rotisserie Chicken Day, and we'll ask our correspondents, how do you make the most of rotisserie chicken or the leftover rotisserie chicken? Okay, real quick, let's go. Let's start with Mayan. Mayan.
Well, how do I enjoy my rotisserie chicken? We eat it as is, and anything left over goes to chicken noodle soup, or in Tagalog, sopas.
Myla.
Yes, I think rotisserie chicken is a versatile food, so we put it on pasta. I put it Alfredo pasta. What else? Different kind of pasta. You can put that rotisserie chicken. It's really good. My kids love it.
That's right. Thank you, Myla. Rani, what do you do?
If I run out of gravy dipping that chicken, then we make ramen the leftovers.
Go. You can never go wrong. Thank you, Randy. Tom. Okay.
Okay, just a quick meal as is. Leftovers, great for sandwiches, and of course, my wife likes to make soup out of the bones and whatever I don't scarf down in a sandwich.
Great. Thank you for sharing, guys. You can really never go wrong with rotisserie chicken or what's left of it. And before we end our show, we remember to thank our frontline workers, first responders, and essential workers with a round of applause. That is today's Eagle News America. I'm Ace Ramirez. Thank you for joining us. We live in interesting times.